So we are here to meet with you. But as tradition demands, we listen for him first, then we can talk. So the spokesperson can.
Afternoon.
Excellency, thank you very much for the opportunity to assess your presence. This is the leadership of Let My Vote Count Alliance. Excellency, I would like to create the indulgence to spend the next 50 seconds to introduce the members here present. We have Gabi Asare. We have John Paul, Ian Okwe.
John Paul, the football.
John Paul. Excellency, this is a British name, John Paul. We have Ian Okwe. We have Archibald. We have Abu Ramadan, Richard Nyama, George Anda, Kofi Ejapon, Ibrahim Eji, Lifty Owari. Your Excellency, this gentleman to my far immediate right, he is Justice Agyekum. He has a popular story. It's not an eye.
Oh.
Fighting to consolidate democracy. And we have Niteko Tego. And then to my immediate left, Your Excellency, once again, my name is David Asante. We know, Your Excellency, your works in Ghana, on the African continent, and all over the world, in stabilizing democracy, in consolidated rule of law in Ghana. Your influence has traveled far beyond the borders and the shores of this country. Let My Vote Count Alliance is a pressure group made up of members from all walks of life, those with political toleration and those who do not belong to any political party. We are here principally to seek your blessing in our day-to-day activity. That is, to throw the spotlight on issues that are directly connected to the sustenance of our democracy, which you fought for and consolidated, which we are privileged to be enjoying today in this country. Consolidating our democracy has a lot to do with peaceful and credible elections. Credible elections are most of the times predicated on transparent, open, and credible processes leading to the final election, specifically the electoral register with which the elections are conducted. In the last few months in this country, Your Excellency, I am sure you are very much aware of the issue on the lips of everyone who has at heart the democracy we enjoy and its sustainability. We're talking about the electoral register, which we're going into 2016 elections. Our position as Let My Vote Count Alliance, and for that matter, most political parties and majority of Ghanaians, is that there are several problems with the register. Let My Vote Count Alliance has taken the pain to draw the attention of stakeholders, international community, and all well-meaning individuals who have at heart our democracy. The need to change the register. You are one of the fine statesmen Ghana is blessed with. And those who belong to the MPP fraternity here, I'm sure, are pretty more excited to be here. They feel more comfortable and they feel at home, just like our other colleagues from the other parties. We took the initiative to visit His Excellency, your colleague, President J.J. Lawrence, who gave us his blessing and spoke passionately about the need to have a credible register going into future elections, specifically 2016. We are here today to seek your blessing and to hear what the GAMPA has to say going forward, as far as our demand and our legitimate fight for a new voters register is concerned, Your Excellency. I have a few other colleagues who will share more light on the reasons why we are here. Ibrahim Eji, Excellency. Thank you.
Your Excellency, in addition to what David has just mentioned, there are indeed 6 political parties and 6 main political parties here in Ghana. And 4 of them have all called for a new register. That is the NDP, the CPP, the PPP, and the NPP as well. And we're all singing the same conversational, the narrative is the same. Having a new register that will give the eventual winner in 2016 that confidence that they have the mandate of the people, because the document upon which they were elected was seen to be clean, transparent, and fair playing ground for all. So it's not just about the numbers in terms of the political parties, Your Excellency, but the fact that the major political parties have identified with one concordant voice that we need a new register, so that the confidence that we are all looking for in 2016 can manifest itself, so that the Ghana that you, as David has rightfully mentioned, fought for and consolidated can continue for other generations to enjoy. And so we plead your blessing and your good counseling on our activities and what we are doing, sir.
Your Excellency, you taught us about zero tolerance, and we think that on that principle, right is right and wrong is wrong. You enjoy a lot of goodwill, not just in Ghana, but even beyond the shores of Ghana. And we believe that adding your voice to a credible voters register will go a long way to reinforce the democracy that we are enjoying in Ghana today. It's not just about cleaning the register, because the existing process is supposed to automatically clean the register, and that has failed. The fact that the Supreme Court has ruled against the use of the National Health Insurance Scheme card as right documentation to get your name into the register clearly shows that those 4 million names that are in there have question marks around them. And we believe that the right thing to do is to come out with a clean voters register. It's happened in Togo, it's happened in Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria did it, so why not Ghana? We want Ghanaians to vote for a Ghanaian president and Ghanaian parliamentarians, not ECOWAS president. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, as my colleagues have said, we wouldn't want to sound as a group coercing the Electoral Commission to taking a decision. But we all agree that time is of essence. If we have to do a new register, we need to do it in time. But Mr. President, the flaws and the errors within the system have been exposed by the Electoral Commission, if you remember, when I was in court together with other colleagues, to demand that the National Health Insurance card should be taken out of the requirements to own a voter's ID card. And the court agreed that it is not a basis. And for that matter, not just the voters register, but the processes, the law itself is faulty. And we need to overhaul the entire system, including the processes leading towards the election. And Mr. President, we are here not to ask for your support, not as a member of the NPP, but because if today there's an issue in Ghana, the international community, when they pick a phone and they want to find out, and they decide they wouldn't call the president because he's probably a party to the issue, they'll call you as a statesman and a leading figure in this country to find out what is going on. So we are here to present our case to you, and I know by now you know the myriad of issues that have been raised. To give us your support, at least we know when you speak, the international community will see that there's a need for Ghana to have a credible register moving to 2016. That's why we're here, Excellency.
Mr. President, my honor, if I may correct one of my colleagues respectfully, we are not here to seek your added voice, because I remember correctly, you are among the foremost people who spoke about a credible register. But we think the timing is such that we must up the positive ante in getting what we need in order to protect democracy and stability that we have. We are worried. And we are worried because it appears as if the EC is not tackling this issue with the needed urgency. If I may take us back a bit, respectfully. In January, the MPP sent a document to the EC making a case for a new register. They received no response. In August, I believe August 18, they held a press conference and exposed evidence of cross-border registration. Beyond that, they showed flaws in terms of allegations that the register is that the database has been tampered with scanned photographs and all that. Up to date, Your Excellency, not a word from the EC. What the EC has done, however, is first of all to ask the other political parties. 24 political parties have been recognized by the EC, including Agyekum Kufuor and other parties. The EC asked them to present their proposals. Whether or not they had a view on the register, they're supposed to present their proposals. They have done so. It took them a month. After they did so, the EC then turned around and said, come back to give an oral submission on the written submission that you gave us in September. Come back in October. And in between, the EC's response to the evidence before it is that we are about to commission an independent entity to look into the evidence. Your Excellency, I'm not so sure how we can have an informed public forum at the end of October when the technical issues, flaws that have been exposed are not interrogated and an objective, if you like, answer coming from an independent body tell us that indeed there are scanned photographs on the database that ought not to be there, or who came into the country should register and they were supposed to be there. If we don't have these technical answers, how then can we have an informed public debate? Just, I believe last week or so, the EC has opened the window up until December for transfer of votes. Transfer of votes, as you know, are important when you move from your constituency to another constituency and you want to register properly in your new location so you can vote in the future election. The next election is supposed to be in November 2016. The issue on the table now is about whether or not we should have a new register. So why would the EC go ahead to do transfer of votes and spend taxpayers' money when the issue about the new register is yet to be resolved? It creates the impression as if we are going on a circus. It appears that the EC is not serious about timing. It appears it is playing with the issue. And we know, Your Excellency, you were sent to Kenya when they had issues in Kenya. We know what happened in Cote d'Ivoire. We know the role you played in bringing peace to Cote d'Ivoire and how it all went pear-shaped again. And a lot had to do with disputes with elections. We saw it in Mali. Ghana has no genetic precondition or predisposition to be more peaceful than other countries. 2016, we believe, is critical. And we're asking you once again to support what we know you believe in and let your big and influential voice be heard. Thank you, sir.
I think I can be late. Your Excellency, as a mother and a woman, I think I need to plead with you. I still want to enjoy the peace we have in this country. Election disputes goes as far as a lot of people fleeing away from the country. Men can run, but with the women, we can't do all the running because we have a lot of kids around us we need to run with. So I would love to plead with you. I'd like to cry to you to add your voice to what is happening, what we are fighting for. I hope Charlotte will be listening and be watching to whatever is going around as we prompt her, so that you could speak to her, for her to know that women, we have nowhere to go. We can't run away with our kids. We can't go anywhere. We still want to be in Ghana. We still want to enjoy the peace we are having in this country. we need her to do something to this thing that we are calling as fast as she can. We are here to plead with you, for you to listen to us and speak to her and let her know what we are crying for. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Sure. Grandpa, I always like to call you Grandpa because you are my granddad. Some of us going forward in 2016, we can feel and we can sense some danger ahead. I mean, looking at the way the tension and the adrenaline going on in the country in terms of the elections and all that. And I'm sure that if anybody in this country knows better in terms of the dynamics of elections and all that, we can't go nowhere without coming to you. And we feel that this country, you have sustained it to the level of maintaining peace when you left it just like that for us. We want to maintain that kind of peace, that anything that comes with elections, surrounding an election going forward in 2016, that can destroy the peaceful coexistence of Ghanaians. Some of us, we are the young ones coming up to take over from you. And we don't want that thing to happen. So, Your Excellency, we are pleading that we want justice. I mean, justice is what we were looking for, because after the Supreme Court, we all heard what happened, and you know, the recommendations that came up that we should go back and do the right thing. I mean, we all saw what happened, and then we don't want that you can add your voice to it so that we can have a peaceful election going forward in 2016, so that Ghana can be a better place, just as you left it for us.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, there is one important thing we seem to have left out. This is Justice Agyekum, the young man who was with us on the 16th of September, whilst we were on the streets demonstrating peacefully to demand a new voters register. Unfortunately, it turned out to be quite awful and a sad moment when the police unfortunately resorted to using brute force to disperse otherwise unarmed, non-violent, innocent civilians expressing their democratic rights. So, Your Excellency, this is one of your grandsons, Justice Agyekum. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I should start off telling you that I do not need any urging or pleas to take a stand with citizens demanding accountability and transparency from any state institution, including the Electoral Commission. The sovereignty of the land really issues from the people. This is why we vote. Suppose we could do the Hellenic democracy, then all the citizens of Ghana perhaps would meet somewhere and then take part in governance. But the world has moved, and with population explosions, the world is using representative democracy. And so the citizens use their vote, indicating their power to pick people to represent them in their fora, whether it's the legislature or even the executive. And so if a citizen, and there's people demanding needn't even be majority of the people. If truly some section of the people or most of the people or whatever should feel that they need to be sure of the quality of the vote, deciding who should govern, then those people should be entitled. And the Electoral Commission is accountable. It's accountable to the people generally. The Electoral Commission is the power, not the power unto itself. I think this should be made clear. Yes, the Constitution provides for its independence, but that same Constitution has as its cornerstone accountability and transparency. Accountability to the source of power, and that source is the people, the citizenry. The Electoral Commission is accountable, and our Electoral Commission must be transparent. The cost of having a faulty election cannot be imagined. I've had opportunity, as I was reminded, to see what transpired in Kenya. Within the short space of about a month, about 1,500 people got slaughtered. We are not counting the other properties destroyed. I was in Cote d'Ivoire. I led some observer teams to observe the election, the last one. And in fact, the coming election, again, I'm leading a group to observe in that country. I led a team to observe the last Nigerian election. And the one before that too, I led the team to observe. So I've seen what faulty elections can do to otherwise peaceful people. Ghana has escaped so far some of the devastations that overtook those lands. We pray they don't happen here in Ghana. And so I'm with you entirely, completely, that the Electoral Commission should not plead excuses like cleaning the register. We've come to the point, and it's a new Electoral Commission, or Chair of Commission. I hope she will start her tenure with a very clean slate. And that will command the respect across the board. At the end of the day, if the citizenry are satisfied that the procedures have been clean, and whoever wins, we all support, we'll follow, because that will be our government. And then governance, we hope, will be inclusive of all of us. But if we should move on a faulty system, thinking that the Ghanaians are so tolerant and they would accommodate, we never know where the spark might come from. What transpired in a place like Tunisia not too long ago couldn't have been envisaged at all till it happened. And there are countless numbers of such surprises taking place all over on our continent. So as I said, I would add my voice to all those demanding that we start afresh with a fresh register, only making sure that this time around it should be the citizens as defined by the Constitution of Ghana, using their entitlement, and they are entitled, their votes to select their representatives, whether they are going to be president or they are going to be members of parliament or even the district assembly, whatever. The citizenry are entitled. And the Electoral Commission is a service institution, even though the Constitution talks of independent. It cannot be independent from accounting to the citizenry of Ghana. So I believe the Electoral Commission should listen. What happened? Well, I was away from Ghana for quite some time. But we heard internationally that some people had been beaten up. I was wondering whether those people had been riotous, being violent. And apparently there was no violence. So I'm surprised the otherwise normally well-behaved police of Ghana should resort to measures that have cost a handsome young man an eye. It's not good, it's not correct, and they shouldn't be condoned at all. So I will add my voice to yours. I would plead with the Electoral Commission to take a step back and think again. And I appreciate the heavy responsibility on the Commission for the peace, stability, and the future of our country. So that's the right thing for the people of Ghana. I don't think the cost is too much. The cost shouldn't be too much, and it would be a worthy cost for everybody to add their voice to, even if we have to go and borrow money from somewhere to get a good register, a clean, true register reflecting the legitimacy and authenticity of it for Ghana to grow its governmental. So you don't need to plead with me. You are stating what you feel should be done for our country. And you are entitled to do that. And I'm supporting your right to demand. I will add my voice, and I will also ask the Electoral Commission to do the right thing for Ghana.